Your neighbor once planted a small tree right next to the front porch because it looked too beautiful to pass up. They did not regret it on the day they planted it. Back then, it was just a small nursery pot, covered in pretty flowers, priced at $40, placed near the porch to make the house feel more alive. They only regretted it years later, when the roots started lifting the driveway, branches began touching the roof, leaves started clogging the gutters, and the tree that once made the yard look better began turning into a repair bill. That is the most dangerous thing about the trees in today's video. They do not warn you when they are small. They wait until they are too big to fix easily. Today, on Garden Center Point, we are going through 7 beautiful trees you may regret planting too close to your house, patio, driveway, fence, gutters, pipes, or foundation. If this video makes you look again at the distance between your trees and your home, hit the like button. It helps this video reach people who may be about to turn a beautiful tree into an expensive repair bill. All right, let's begin. Number 7. Mimosa tree. The mimosa tree is the kind of tree people fall in love with emotionally before they think about it practically. Soft, fern-like leaves, pink, silky flowers. When it blooms, it makes a corner of the yard feel light, romantic, almost tropical. For someone staring at an empty space in the yard, mimosa can feel like the perfect gift. Fast-growing, beautiful flowers, soft shade, and a more unusual look than the ordinary trees around them. But the trap is hidden inside those 2 words, fast-growing. Mimosa is not as strong as its beauty makes it seem. Its wood is relatively weak, and branches can break during strong winds or storms. Flowers fall, leaves fall, seed pods fall, and if the tree starts producing seedlings, you may find them showing up where you never wanted them. Along fences, at the edge of the yard, in flower beds, and even spreading into nearby property. Plant mimosa too close to the house, driveway, patio, or front porch, and you are placing cleanup right at your door. At first, you think you bought a flowering tree. A few years later, you realize you also bought falling branches, seed pods, unwanted seedlings, and repeated pruning work. The most frustrating part is that mimosa usually does not make you regret it immediately. The first year, it looks beautiful. The second year, it looks even better. Then, by the time the tree is large enough to cause problems, moving it is no longer as simple as relocating a potted plant. If you truly like mimosa, plant it far away from the house, far from parked cars, far from patios, and far from areas you want to keep clean. And before planting it, check whether it is considered invasive in your region. Mimosa is best when it has space to drop, break, seed, and live according to its nature. But when it is placed too close to the house, that beauty often comes with a broom, a saw, and a lot of frustration later. Number 6. Bradford Pear. Bradford Pear used to be the star of American neighborhoods. White flowers covered the tree in early spring. The canopy looked round and neat. It grew fast. It looked tidy when young. You could see it in front yards, parking lots, neighborhood entrances, along streets, near driveways, near homes, and almost anywhere people wanted a tree that looked good quickly. And that is exactly why it became one of the most expensive lessons in landscaping. Bradford Pear looks almost perfect when it is young, but its branch structure is often weak. The main limbs grow at narrow angles, crowded around the trunk, and as the tree matures, the whole canopy can become prone to splitting, cracking, and breaking. A strong wind, a storm, a heavy snow, or an ice event can tear apart the same tree that once looked round, clean, and well-behaved. If the tree is far away from the house, the damage may be nothing more than a pile of branches to clean up. But if it stands near the roof, driveway, car, utility lines, or front entrance, the story changes completely. A large branch falling is no longer just yard debris. It can become the cost of repairing a vehicle, fixing a roof, hiring a tree crew, or cleaning up emergency storm damage. And that is not the only problem. Bradford pear flowers have an unpleasant smell to many people. Even worse, this group of pear trees has become seriously invasive in many areas. It does not always stay in the yard where it was planted. It can spread, grow in abandoned lots, along roadsides, in fields, and compete with native plants. That is what makes Bradford Pear so frustrating. It was sold as an ideal landscape tree, but many homeowners only saw the real price years later. If you are thinking about planting a white flowering spring tree, do not let 2 weeks of bloom fool you. A tree should not be judged only when it is flowering. It should be judged when the wind rises, when the branches get heavy, when the roots spread, when it matures, and when it starts living according to its true nature. Bradford Pear is a classic reminder of something every gardener should remember. Just because a tree was planted everywhere does not mean it deserves a place near your house. Number 5. Sweet gum. Sweet gum has a beauty that can easily convince people. In fall, its leaves can turn red, orange, yellow, purple, a brilliant range of color that can make the whole yard look like a painting. It grows tall, has a handsome shape, and provides good shade. If you only look at it during its best autumn moment, you may think, "This is the perfect tree for my yard." Then the spiky balls begin to fall. This is the part that makes many homeowners regret it. Sweet gum produces hard, round, spiky seed balls. They fall into the grass, onto walkways, across driveways, onto patios, into children's play areas where people walk barefoot, and where the lawnmower has to pass. 1 or 2 would not be a problem, but a mature tree can drop a lot of them year after year. You will find them stuck in the grass, rolling across the path, hurting bare feet, making mowing more annoying. And if the tree stands right beside your outdoor living area, you may end up picking them up again and again just to keep the space from feeling like a small obstacle course. Sweet gum roots can also be shallow and may create problems if the tree is planted too close to hard surfaces. But for many people, the first reason for regret is not the roots. It is the seed balls that seem to keep falling forever. The irony is that this is not an ugly tree. On a larger property, far from walkways and patios, sweet gum can be a very beautiful tree. It has excellent fall color, a strong shape, and real landscape value. But planting it close to the places where you live every day is a different story. A front yard that looks beautiful in fall can become months of cleanup. A shade tree can ask you to pay back its beauty with time, effort, and irritation. If you are considering sweet gum, ask one question first. Where will those spiky balls fall? If the answer is the driveway, patio, walkway, play area, or any place your family uses often, think again. Fall color lasts for a season, but those spiky seed balls can make you remember your planting decision for much longer. Number 4. Mulberry. Mulberry is a tree people often misunderstand. If you only look at the fruit, it is wonderful. Soft, sweet, dark purple or black berries. Birds love them. Children love them. Adults love them too, if they have ever eaten them fully ripe. A healthy mulberry tree can produce a huge amount of fruit, and because the berries are soft and hard to transport, supermarkets rarely sell the best version of them. But that delicious fruit is exactly why this tree can become a nightmare in the wrong place. Plant a mulberry beside a driveway, patio, front entrance, parking area, deck, or light-colored surface, and you will quickly understand what stains look like. Fallen fruit can stain concrete, brick, shoes, tires, doormats, and outdoor flooring. Birds come to eat the fruit, and then they leave droppings on cars, chairs, railings, and walkways. Mulberry does not need to damage your foundation to make you regret it. It only needs to stand in the wrong place. A mulberry tree at the edge of a property, where fallen fruit does not bother anyone, can be a free food source for people and birds. But a mulberry right beside the patio can turn every fruiting season into a cleaning season. And once the tree is large, you cannot simply say, "Let's move it somewhere else." This is the kind of tree that teaches you that not every fruit tree belongs near the areas where people sit, park, walk, and relax. Some trees should be planted farther away, close enough to harvest, but not so close that you have to live under the mess every day. If you love mulberries, give the tree space and place it carefully. Do not plant it directly over the driveway. Do not put it beside the parking area. Do not plant it right next to a light-colored patio just because you want the fruit within easy reach. That convenience can turn into a lot of purple stains. Mulberry is a good tree in the right location, but in the wrong location, it is living proof that even a delicious fruit tree can make your yard look like someone spilled purple ink all over it. If you just remembered a tree standing too close to your house, do not ignore that feeling. Many expensive mistakes began as one small nursery pot that looked completely harmless. Comment the tree name below, just the name and what happened. Your real experience may help someone else avoid a very expensive mistake. Number 3. Silver maple. Silver maple is a tree for people who do not want to wait for shade. You have an empty yard. You want a tree to grow fast. You want shade in summer, sooner rather than later. You want to see results in a few years, not a few decades. Silver maple answers that desire very well, and that is exactly what makes it dangerous near the house. Fast-growing trees often come with a price. With silver maple, that price can be shallow roots, weaker branches, more brittle wood, and a size that grows beyond what the homeowner imagined at planting time. When it is young, it may look like the perfect solution for a hot corner of the yard. But years later, the canopy spreads, the roots rise, and large limbs begin standing over the roof, the car, the garage, or the power lines. The shallow roots of silver maple can make mowing harder, lift walkway edges, push up pavers, and interfere with driveways or patios if the tree is planted too close. It does not have to destroy everything to become a problem. It only has to make the ground uneven, shift hard surfaces, or drop branches after storms. Silver maple branches can also break during wind, storms, snow, or ice. And when a large tree stands too close to the house, every strong wind is no longer just weather. It becomes a question. Which branch might fall, and where will it land? If you have a large property, silver maple may have a place. Far from the house, far from the driveway, far from pipes, and far from parked cars, it can be a powerful shade tree. But if you try to squeeze it into a small yard just because you want shade quickly, you are buying speed with risk. In gardening, a fast tree is not always a wise tree. Sometimes the tree that gives you shade the soonest is also the tree that makes you call an arborist the soonest. Number 2. Weeping Willow. Weeping willow is one of the most beautiful trees when it stands in the right place. Long branches hang like curtains. The canopy feels soft and graceful. Beside a pond, a lake, or a wide-open lawn, it can look like a painting. It is easy to understand why people see a weeping willow in a photo and immediately want one in their own yard. But weeping willow is not a tree for every yard, and it is especially not a tree you should plant near the house just because it looks romantic. Willow roots are famous for seeking water. They move toward moisture. That means if you plant a willow too close to water lines, drain lines, septic systems, damp soil near the foundation, or any area with steady moisture, the roots can become a serious problem. Weeping willow also needs a lot of space. It is not just a cute little tree with soft, drooping branches. It can grow quickly, drop branches, shed leaves, spread roots, cast a wide shadow, and take over a much larger area than the buyer imagined when looking at a young nursery plant. The mistake often begins gently. A small willow in a pot, a few soft branches hanging down, a damp corner of the yard near a patio. The homeowner thinks, this would look beautiful right here. But willow does not live like decoration. It lives like a water-seeking system. If you have a large property, a pond, and plenty of safe distance from the house, pipes, and septic system, weeping willow can be beautiful. But in a small yard, near a house, near a patio, or near underground lines, it deserves serious caution. Weeping willow is not a bad tree. It simply has needs too large to be forced into a place too close to structures. And when its roots go looking for water, they do not ask where your pipes are. Number 1. Cottonwood. Cottonwood stands at number 1 because it represents one of the most common temptations in landscaping, a tree that grows very fast. In this video, we are talking mainly about eastern cottonwood, the large, fast-growing cottonwood common across much of North America. If your yard is empty, you want shade. If your neighbor can see straight into your house, you want privacy. If wind blows across open land, you want a tall screen. And when someone says cottonwood can grow extremely fast, it sounds like the perfect answer. But fast-growing trees are rarely free. Cottonwood can become enormous. Its roots spread wide, grow strong, and tend to seek water. This is not the kind of tree you want near a foundation, driveway, patio, underground pipes, or septic system. Its branches can also be weak and prone to breaking, especially as the tree matures or faces harsh weather. Some cottonwoods also produce cottony seeds that drift like snow, covering the yard, sticking to screens, doors, air conditioning units, shrubs, and almost every outdoor corner. That may look interesting for the first few minutes, but when it returns every season, the romance disappears quickly. The biggest problem is size. Cottonwood is not a tree for a small residential yard close to the house. It belongs better on large land, near stream banks, in natural areas, or in places where it has enough room to live like the large tree it truly is. When planted too close to a home, it can become too big, too fast, and too risky. People often plant fast trees because they do not want to wait, but sometimes waiting a few more years for the right tree is far cheaper than spending 10 years living beside the wrong one. Cottonwood can give you shade quickly, but that shade comes with strong roots, falling branches, tree litter, cottony seed fluff, and a size that a small yard may not be able to handle. That is why it stands at number 1. Not because it is the worst tree in every situation, but because when it is planted in the wrong place, the desire for fast shade can turn into a very expensive lesson. If you have watched this far and you are thinking about a tree in your own yard, do not panic and do not rush to cut it down. Ask a simpler question first. Is it standing in the right place? Because in gardening, many expensive mistakes do not appear on the day you plant. They appear years later, when roots start lifting the driveway, weak branches break in storms, fallen fruit stains the patio, or the tree that once looked small begins growing beyond the space you gave it. A small tree at the garden center can look completely harmless, but after 10 years, the question is no longer, is it beautiful? The question is, what will it do to your house, your walkway, your fence, your pipes, and your wallet? If this video was valuable to you, subscribe to Garden Center Point and send it to someone who is getting ready to plant near the house. One good planting decision today can help them avoid years of regret later. I will see you in the next video.